Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we'll take a look at who Mary Shaw is. One of the most interesting, mysterious, and terrifying monstrous villains we've seen in the horror genre and modern horror cinema is Mary Shaw, also known as the demonic puppeteer. She appears in the entertaining and memorable movie Dead Silence, directed by the talented James Wan. Mary Shaw was a popular ventriloquist who, after being killed by the residents of the town of Ravensfair, returns from the grave as a vengeful specter, seeking to destroy everyone involved in her murder, as well as their descendants. Mary Shaw manifests in a very peculiar way, making the entire environment around her potential victim fall into absolute silence. Along with her ability to manifest through her ventriloquist dolls, Mary Shaw is considered one of the most terrifying vengeful specters in modern horror cinema and an iconic character in the genre. That's why in this video, I'll explain in detail the story and known origins of Mary Shaw, provide a brief summary of what is revealed in the movie, and discuss her physical appearance, personality, behavior, incredible supernatural abilities, and the few known weaknesses she has. Mary Shaw is a vengeful ghost who, in life, was a famous and successful ventriloquist passionate about entertaining people and spending time with her dolls. She serves as the main antagonist of the 2007 supernatural horror film Dead Silence. Mary Shaw is a ghost with malevolent intentions who lost her voice and seeks revenge against the residents of Ravensfair. The story of this terrifying entity is both very interesting and peculiar. Mary Shaw was born in the year 1869. The movie mentions that, as a child, she had no friends and was quite withdrawn. For this reason, she enjoyed spending her free time with her dolls, whom she considered her only true friends. As she grew older, Mary became an authoritative and somewhat cruel woman, but she managed to achieve great success by mastering the art of ventriloquism. She remained single and had no close family. Because of this, Mary formed a large collection of ventriloquist dolls, whom she loved as if they were her own children. In the movie, it's revealed that Mary didn't just see her dolls as different in their physical appearance, but also believed each one possessed a unique personality. In total, Mary owned more than 101 dolls, with her favorite being a doll named Billy, which she used in most of her performances. During the late 1930s and early 1940s, Mary worked as a ventriloquist in a highly famous show held at the illustrious Gignall Theatre, located in the small town of Ravensfair, in the middle of an iconic lake. Mary performed her act almost every night and lived in her dressing room at the theater, which was quite spacious and comfortable. Unfortunately for the town's residents, one night, during one of her performances in 1941, a young audience member named Michael Ashen began mocking Mary. Rudely, the boy claimed he could see her lips moving as she manipulated her doll, Billy. Essentially, Michael told her she wasn't a good ventriloquist, which caused Mary to channel all her frustration and embarrassment through Billy. At that moment, the doll began to speak on its own, defending the idea that Mary and he were entirely different people. During the course of this conversation, Mary and Billy's voices seemed to overlap, frightening Michael. However, this act impressed the entire audience, who enthusiastically applauded, thinking Mary Shaw was an exceptional ventriloquist. After the show ended, Mary sought out Michael. In a terrifying manner, she asked him, "Now, who's the dummy?" Mary Shaw never forgot the incident nor forgave the rude boy. This anger built up inside her, leading her to decide to kidnap the boy, Michael Ashen, so no one could find him. With the boy's disappearance, the townspeople began to suspect the strange ventriloquist. They said the boy had been abducted by her because he had insulted and bothered her. Some members of the Ashen family, the most powerful and influential family in town, along with other families from Ravensfair, decided to confront Mary Shaw in her dressing room. There, they attacked and brutally beat her. They then tortured her to make her suffer intensely before ripping out her tongue, aiming to strip her of her only talent, ventriloquism, and leave her with nothing forever. After killing her, They took Mary's body to the local funeral home, owned by the Walker family, to have it prepared and buried. Following the instructions in her will, the mortician cosmetically altered Mary's body to make her resemble one of her ventriloquist dolls. This man, respectful of the final wishes of the deceased, decided to honor her request and buried Mary along with all her dolls, each in its own case. Curiously, this was also specified in her will. Mary was laid to rest in one of the largest corners of the Ravens Fair cemetery, accompanied by all her children, her dolls. Tragically for the mortician and the town's families, Mary Shaw's story did not end there. Her spirit rose from the grave and became a malevolent entity seeking revenge against the families of Ravens Fair. She used her dolls as instruments to torment and kill the families who had murdered her. In this way, she eliminated many people in the town, gradually wiping out the Ravens Fair community. Over the following decades, Mary Shaw continued killing indiscriminately, brutally murdering anyone who screamed upon seeing her. For this reason, many bodies were found with expressions of intense terror and missing tongues. Additionally, in several instances, the corpses bore wounds that resembled modifications, as if they had been turned into ventriloquist dolls. Because of all this, Mary Shaw became a local legend known and feared by everyone. Her story gave rise to a children's rhyme that became popular in the area and spoke about how to protect oneself from her ghost. The rhyme, which functions like a lullaby, goes as follows. Beware the stare of Mary Shaw. She had no children, only dolls. And if you see her in your dreams, be sure you never, ever scream. During the events of the movie, we follow the young Jamie Ashen, one of the descendants of the Ashen family, who are directly responsible for Mary Shaw's murder. Jamie seeks answers and justice following the tragic events related to Michael's death, thus facing the terrifying legacy of Mary Shaw. The movie begins with Jamie and his wife, Lisa, who are talking and deciding what to do since Jamie hasn't been able to fix the sink's pipe. For this reason, Lisa, who is pregnant, cannot use it. In the end, the couple decides it's best to order takeout. At this moment, someone rings the doorbell of their apartment. When Jamie goes to check, he finds a strange package containing the doll Billy. Upon seeing it, Lisa mentions to Jamie that it reminds her of the children's legend about a vengeful ghost. However, Jamie dismisses this as a strange prank and leaves to pick up the food they ordered. Meanwhile, Lisa decides to position the doll to play a prank on Jamie, thinking it might scare him. Unfortunately, she is attacked by the doll Billy and is eventually killed by Mary Shaw. Mary rips out Lisa's tongue because the woman screamed in horror. When Jamie returns home, he finds his wife's murdered body, which deeply disturbs him. After calling the police, they arrive at the apartment and encounter the horrifying scene. Following Lisa's funeral, the police accuse Jamie of murdering his wife. However, he is convinced that the doll was responsible for the crime. This is where the most interesting part of the movie begins, involving Jamie investigating the dark and terrifying history surrounding the town of Ravens Fair and his own family, the Ashens. Since we have thoroughly covered Mary Shaw's story and origins, we can now discuss her physical appearance, personality, behavior, and her various abilities or powers, as well as her few known weaknesses. Mary Shaw, as a ghost, has a terrifying appearance. She looks like a somewhat emaciated old woman, almost like a zombie, because her skin is deteriorated, giving her a grotesque look. Her eyes are bulging and very different from when she was alive, as they have been replaced with ventriloquist doll eyes. This gives her a sinister appearance, as she always seems to be watching her victims intently. Her mouth is her most terrifying physical feature, as the lower part of her jaw resembles the mouths of her dolls. She typically wears a black dress that covers her entire body, similar to the outfit she wore when she was alive. Her extremely pale skin further reinforces her ghostly appearance. Mary Shaw possesses very interesting abilities that make her an extremely difficult enemy to defeat. First of all, one of her most fascinating abilities is her control over sound. When her presence arrives at a place, all sound seems to vanish, creating what the movie refers to as a dead silence. This is observed in several scenes throughout the film, but the most iconic occurs when Mary Shaw appears before Lisa and unexpectedly kills her, absorbing all the sound in the house, including that of the large clock they own. Another intriguing ability she possesses is that, upon killing her victims and ripping out their tongues, Mary absorbs them and incorporates them into her own being. Because of this, she can use the voice of anyone she has killed, allowing her to deceive potential victims. It is also believed that she can imitate any voice, as she was a talented ventriloquist in life. However, evidence suggests this ability stems from absorbing the tongues of her victims. Mary's most terrifying ability, and the one that makes her a memorable entity, is her power to possess her dolls at will. Through these dolls, she scares and kills her victims. It is not entirely clear why she uses her dolls, as she is shown in several scenes in her true form. However, most fans of the movie theorize that she does this to amplify the fear and terror in her victims, pushing them to scream. In addition to these abilities, we know that Mary is immortal and that almost nothing can truly harm her. She also possesses superhuman strength and speed. However, despite her incredible powers, she seems to have a significant weakness: damage to her dolls. If her dolls are destroyed, Mary weakens, and it is believed that if all her dolls were eliminated, her entity could lose all its power, preventing her from manifesting again. This is shown in the movie when Jamie burns all of Mary Shaw's dolls, causing the dolls to scream as if they were alive. Additionally, Mary momentarily disappears, which seems to confirm this theory. Another important weakness of this entity is that if her potential victim does not scream, Mary cannot truly kill them. It is believed that this is why she uses her dolls along with the silent atmosphere to generate as much fear as possible, forcing people to scream. Nevertheless, some fans have concluded that Mary Shaw can push, injure, or physically harm her victims, even if they don't scream, ultimately causing them to scream and die brutally at the hands of this entity. Mary Shaw, overall, is a highly evil and ruthless entity. This attitude can be observed throughout the film, as she is determined to wipe out all the families and their descendants responsible for her murder. She spares no one, and if anyone gets in her way, she will kill them without hesitation, showing no remorse. In fact, it is revealed that she killed Lisa, Jamie's wife, because she was pregnant, which would have brought another Ashen descendant into the world. This is her primary motivation. However, many fans have theorized that even if Mary managed to eliminate all the families in Raven's Fair, she wouldn't stop there. During the course of the movie, she also kills Henry Walker, the Undertaker's son, for not fulfilling all her wishes. All of this demonstrates just how ruthless and malevolent Mary Shaw truly is. Another of her motivations, which was an obsession for her in life, is to create the perfect doll. This is achieved by combining parts of human beings with parts of dolls, thus creating a puppet that looks like a real person but isn't, and one she can control effortlessly. Jamie discovers that his ancestor, Michael Ashen, was killed by Mary Shaw and used to begin creating her perfect doll. Although Michael's body didn't become the final doll, it did help Mary continue perfecting her theory. This entity's modus operandi is very simple, as mentioned in the nursery rhyme. First, Mary arrives at a place and absorbs all the sound, creating an atmosphere of absolute silence. With this, she aims to scare her victim, and when they scream, Mary strikes, ripping out their tongue and leaving them with a horrified expression on their face and a dislocated lower jaw. An interesting tidbit about this movie is that during the climax in Mary Shaw's theater, we can see the Billy doll, the legendary puppet of the Jigsaw killer, lying on the floor. Jigsaw is the main antagonist of the Saw films. This cameo was included by director James Wan, who is also the creator of this horror franchise. The story of Mary Shaw in Dead Silence was created by director James Wan, a renowned horror filmmaker who is also the creator of the Saw and the Conjuring franchises, along with screenwriter Leigh Whannell, with whom he had already worked on the Saw series. Both wanted the plot of this movie to be a classic ghost story, but with ventriloquists and dolls as central elements of the narrative. According to James Wan, this type of doll scares most people, especially children. Actress Judith Roberts played Mary Shaw and captivated the producers with her audition because she had an elegant yet terrifying and sinister appearance, especially because of her eyes. Roberts also played the Mother Superior in the Christmas horror film Silent Night, Deadly Night. To transform into the ghost of Mary Shaw, the actress spent 4 hours in makeup, achieving the macabre special effects that made her skin and mouth resemble those of a ventriloquist doll. She even learned a bit of the art of ventriloquism to develop her role more authentically, and she herself operated the Billy doll in many scenes. Thanks to the efforts of the production team, the special effects artists, the actors, and James Wan's creativity, this movie was made with great passion and dedication, delivering a classic and fantastic ghost story that is both terrifying and captivating. In my opinion, Mary Shaw is an excellent antagonist due to her evil nature, relentless attitude, and connection to the terrifying dolls, making her a highly memorable supernatural villain. The film's ending is one of the best in any modern horror movie, featuring several unexpected and fascinating plot twists. For this reason, I won't specifically talk about the ending or Jamie's story in the movie, as I believe it's worth experiencing for yourselves. Although this movie received poor reviews upon release, it has gained a solid fan base over time and has established itself as a classic in the horror genre. Despite some flaws, I consider it a very atmospheric film that showcases unique and memorable settings. I loved how director James Wan focused on creating eerie environments instead of solely relying on violence and gore, though there is some of that as well. For all these reasons, I highly recommend the movie Dead Silence. It's very entertaining and terrifying, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Were you already familiar with Mary Shaw's story? What do you think about her origins and abilities? Which do you think is her most terrifying ability, and why? Share your answers and general opinions about Mary Shaw and Dead Silence in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, share it to support the channel, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of my new videos.